the beginning of the moment where we're going to ask you to close your eyes for a minute. Go back in time with us. Take a little history trip. Okay. We're going to open our imagination and take us back in history. Back to a beautiful weekend at Pearl Harbor and the Hawaiian island of Oahu.
You gotta say it right like Grandma used to say it out there in Hawaii.
Hawaii. You've had a little Polynesian chicken for dinner last night, perhaps a Mai Tai, and now you're just chilling on Sunday morning.
Waking up in my shorts, kids out playing.
We're about to launch a bunch of movie stars here in a moment, some aircraft that will tell you the story about along the way.
Okay.
See what our weather's gonna do to us. We're gonna let you listen to the sound of the rumbling radial engines as all of these aircraft take off with some 1930s technology that's used in World War II. The sound of round. They were in Midway.
Yeah. Were they?
They were in Pearl Harbor.
Were they in the old Baba Black Sea?
A couple were.
No, not until 1981.
You had pliers to turn on the TV, didn't you? All the knobs had been torn off by the wolves.
No, but I had to go out and turn the antenna with a monkey wrench.
Did you?
My dad had one of the first remote control TVs. That's where they were from. Yo, Dave. Go change that. Yo, Mike. Go change that.
Yeah.
He also had remote control robot lawnmowers the same way.
Yeah. Dave, go.
Hey, Dave, go mow the yard.
They were incredibly efficient.
Well, I get that. But well, as these airplanes make their way out the April, they'll turn it over to you. But see what happens. Just me? Kind of looks like an office sign back there. The big one's going around the north of us, it looks like.
That's right, for all of you folks looking at the weather on your phone, go ahead and just start waving it off, blow it off, get rid of it. Slide to the right.
Well, Rick had been blowing, but there's gas moving around over here to shoot it off, I guarantee it. My goodness. I don't know what he had in that hot dog. It was all the mac and cheese you had with it.
I guess.
You said it was gassy?
No.
Oh, I thought you just admitted it.
No. It wasn't me.
Well, that was cool though, watching it take off. It really was neat watching it blast off out there.
So they have to get like a flight rep too, right? They go each of these acts.
Boy, they're kind of forming up like
To make sure they're within their limits.
get together like a swarm of bees out there.
You know, it's calling out to me again. It's been probably over a decade since I've been to Hawaii.
Yeah. To Hawaii. That was Grandma. That was always Granny's dream to go to Hawaii.
I rented a Mustang convertible, 5-liter, R, on the Big Island.
Okay.
Well, then you get over there and pay for that and find out the speed limits on the highway were 35 miles an hour. They can't be trusted as tourists. So they look good, but I didn't get it.
I think Dave was bamboozled us.
It is raining rather hard because my computer just ran.
David, what is going on up there? It's stuff's falling from the sky.
It's that liquid sunshine stuff that we really didn't necessarily need. Hopefully it will be short-lived.
Well, let's hope. So what do you want to do, Dave?
I want to tell you a little story here in a moment.
Okay.
Got this group of all volunteer pilots from all over Texas and other places out with us today.
Sharpen up. Good stuff. You're being incredibly patient, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate your understanding.
Yeah, we're never bigger than Mother Nature.
Yeah, we have to just
Mother
check
Nature
on the
always
cloud
wins.
base again, and the wind keeps moving the daggone things around.
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it? Look at it. Blowing those summer breeze clouds right over the top of us here. You see the little bunny out there running around?
I did.
Yeah, it's running back through the
It's,
wildflowers out there.
They've all had their youngins.
Yeah.
The little ones are running around here. And very
Yeah.
quickly they learn that, there may be a hand dog or two. Moby Bunny in very short
Oh
order.
boy.
So the Formula One track up in Montreal, where I do some track announcing with Formula One, every year the gophers come out, groundhogs, and we have one there that since the World's Fair in Montreal in 1967 has been living on handouts, French fries,
Jeez.
popcorn, poutine,
Poutine, huh?
and they call him Moby Groundhog. And, we do the shadow thing
Rick, are you seeing this though?
up there too, but
You're
the
watching
shadow thing never works because the poor thing can't get out of its hole anymore.
I don't know if I believe Dave.
His little legs don't touch the ground.
I think Dave's up to something out there. These airplanes do not look, I don't know. Like a hornet's nest coming right at us. Brother Dave? What do you think, Brother Dave?
We're
I think
about
you've been
ready
up
to
to
go.
something. I think Dave's up to something. I don't like the looks of this one bit.
Oh, sounds good.
Oh my goodness.
I think we got it good to go.
I do not like the looks of this. Nope.
Air raid, air raid. It's an enemy air raid. Pearl Harbor, this is not a drill. Yes, we have taken you back to 7:55 a.m. on December 7th, 1941. Imagine you were there that fateful morning. It started off as a peaceful Sunday morning over 80 years ago on Oahu at Pearl Harbor at Hickam Field. Our entire naval base has awakened with most of the fleet peacefully anchored within the confines of the harbor. Experience the roar of the engines and the sounds of the bombers as the Imperial Japanese Navy approaches. And with a break in formation, launches the first wave of 189 fighters and bombers from Japan's 1st Air Fleet led by Admiral Fushimi. This unprovoked surprise attack was so complete that the coded success signal of TORA, TORA, TORA was sent back to the carrier task force before the first bomb fell. A single remote radar station had spotted the incoming raiders with this stupid aircraft B-17s due immediately to land. The B-17s arrived, and like America herself, find themselves in a war that had not yet been declared. The attack was from the Japanese aircraft carriers Akagi, and the two new carriers, the Shogaku and the Suikoku. The plan was simple: destroy the American fleet. The raid lasted for a little over 2 hours. 2 horrific and gruesome hours. These kids, yes, you have a front row seat to the Pacific Theater as the story of the attack on Pearl Harbor unfolds in front of you here at Dayton. When the first bombs began to fall, the pilots all over the island jumped into action. At Wheeler Field, Lieutenant Colonel Rasmussen moved to the sound of bombs. Jumping out of bed, he strapped on a 45 caliber pistol over his purple pajamas and ran to a working P-36 Hawk. All aircraft on the flight lines were ordered to be wingtip to wingtip on alert for days, with guns loaded, except for this Sunday morning. The Japanese Zeros and Valves bombed the exposed airplanes, most of them except for the P-36 Hawks. The P-36 Hawk being chased by the Zeros right here in front of him. Four P-36 pilots: Lewis Sanders, Harry Brown, Gordon Sterling, and Malcolm Mike Moore. They took off to engage the attack of the Japanese and managed to shoot down a few of their Zeros, Valves, and K's. The number of enemy aircraft were incredibly overwhelming. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the island, Kenneth Taylor and George Welch were just returning from an all-night dinner dance and poker party. These brave pilots, still in their formal dress clothes, raced to a couple of P-40 Warhawks, got them fueled and armed, and took off. quickly found themselves in the middle of a real battle. These two Japanese close to Pearl Harbor and engaged the Zeros, Val's, and Case with rounds from their .30 caliber machine guns. However, they quickly ran out of ammunition. Luckily, they were able to land at Wheeler Field, which is near the center of the island. They refueled and reloaded with .30 and .50 caliber ammo and took off once again to fight the Japanese. The two pilots are credited with downing a total of 6 Japanese warplanes before their own planes were disabled. Both pilots received a Distinguished Service Cross for their actions that infamous day. A total of 502 airplanes were on the ground at the beginning of the attack. Sadly, just 155 of our aircraft lay on the ground in various stages of disrepair. The first wave of 189 Japanese Zeros, Val's, and Case. Then came the second wave. An additional 171 aircraft continued to strafe from bombing and dropping of torpedoes for yet another 70 minutes. That's a total of 360 enemy warplanes. As the attack proceeded at Pearl Harbor Hickam Field, the devastation was on the eastern edge of Ford Island in the center of the harbor. 9 battleships lay at berth. The California, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Tennessee, Maryland, Utah, and the Arizona. Luckily at the time, our 3 Pacific aircraft carriers were out to sea. First, the Japanese hit with their Kate torpedo bombers. The initial wave of Kates hit 5 of our battleships, including the Oklahoma, California, Nevada, West Virginia, and Utah. These Kates were specially equipped with shallow runners, specifically designed for the attack on Pearl Harbor. You see, the shallow waters at Pearl Harbor would not allow the use of normal deep-running torpedoes, which this was a well-thought-out plan and premeditated attack. You see that Cape torpedo bomber right there in the green, being chased with the Zero and the P-36 Hawk. Then came the Valkyries. They were armed with 1,700 pounds of long-combusting projectiles. Originally made for 16-inch battleship guns, these rounds were converted into aerial bombs. Each one in their zone. Anti-aircraft fire here to the away from the Dominican coast. But unfortunately, the Arizona was not that lucky. A bomb from a Cape torpedo bomber stabbed the Arizona. Sailors on the Nevada watched in horror as the Arizona jumped 20 feet in the air and broke in 2. The ship sank in 2 minutes, forever entrapping 1,178 American servicemen in an underwater tomb. And still today, she remains at the bottom of a watery grave in Pearl Harbor, crying black tears as a reminder of all those who lost their lives this infamous day. All over the island, soldiers were bringing their weapons to bear in the fight, believing that they worked. Their .45 caliber pistols or Springfield rifles, in some cases, Ladies and gentlemen, this is TORA TORA TORA. At Marine Corps Air Station Ewa, Private First Class Delta's officer was on guard with 9 Zero attack. He stepped out of his guard shack, drew his .45 caliber pistol, and began firing at the enemy planes. A Japanese pilot, Yoshiga, saw Thompson the bravest American I've ever seen. Meanwhile, at Bellows Field on the northeastern coast of the island, more U.S. Army pilots were racing to their P-4 warplanes. Japanese Zeros appeared at the same time and started strafing runs. One P-40 pilot was killed just as he stepped into his cockpit. Two other P-40s were shot down just as they got off the ground. The flight of 12 B-17s coming in from the mainland finally arrived and were immediately attacked by the Zeros. Unfortunately, in all of the confusion, the B-17s were shot at by both friend and foe. The frightened crews landed wherever they could. One of them in a hospital field, not far from Pickett Field. The B-17 pilot Major landed, trying to land, said, "What a hell of a way to enter a war. Out of gas, unarmed, and no place to land." At the conclusion of the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, more than half of America's entire naval fleet had been destroyed or damaged. Nearly 2,400 Americans were killed, over 1,200 wounded, and at the time, 960 were known missing. 188 aircraft were destroyed, 159 were damaged. Just 155 of our aircraft were left on the ground. 2 battleships were destroyed, 3 light cruisers, 3 destroyers, and a total of 6 battleships were damaged. Our greatest naval base lay in ruins, along with our complacency. The following day, December 8th, 1941, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt announced our entry into World War II with these words to Congress, the citizens of the United States, and the world.
Yesterday, December 6th, 1940. It will be reported that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
Admiral Yamamoto, the mastermind of the attack on Pearl Harbor, said, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." He was right. In the 44 months of fighting that followed, the United States sank every one of the Japanese aircraft carriers, battleships, and cruisers that were part of the Pearl Harbor Task Force. Nagasaki, the city where the special armor-busting bombs were made, was destroyed by a U.S. atom bomb on August 9th, 1945. And a little less than a month later, when the Japanese surrender document was signed on September 2nd, among the U.S. warships present in the Tokyo Bay was our battleship, the West Virginia. Would you please bow your head and join me in a moment of silence in memory of all those who lost their lives that fateful day. War by this demonstration. We just simply honor a time when our nation was strong, united, and patriotic. In the 3.5 years after this attack, we the people of the United States grew stronger by putting 16 million men in uniform, built 100,000 fighter aircraft, 98,000 bombers, 24,000 transport planes, 58,000 trainers, and over 1,000 floating ships. Ladies and gentlemen, TORA 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 and the TORA Bomb Squad wants to give you our thanks to all of those who served and are serving today. The United States of America's dedication led to the surrender not only of Japan, but Nazi Germany as well, giving peace and freedom to the entire world. We do this in appreciation of the dedication and determination and effort, and extend our appreciation to all the men and women fighting for our freedom today. We salute them all, past, present, and future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, working outside since the early morning of the hours here, all those cars you see out there at Show Center, that's the Pyro team, which is known as the TORA Bomb Squad. They are led by Jason Bartley from Springport, Michigan, and his team comes from all over the nation, and they include Zach Stowe, Shelby Baldwin, Tim Wright, Nick DeJesus, John Blevins, Ken Bood, Ben Engleter, Jim Cool, Amber Johnson, Willie Hooper, Jason Stratz, Mosley Hardy, Ben Orange, and Jeff Caudell. And now I'd like to introduce our pilots. In TORA 111-0111, Patrick Hutchins, the team leader. He's been flying for over 20 years with TORA. In second place here at number 12 is Steve Swift, and he's from Dallas, Texas. Trevor Henson from Kansas City, Missouri at 0113. K313 is Daniel Rathburn from Midland, Texas. Riding along with him is Corey Baldwin, who's from Kemet, Texas. That's his first flight as a TORA flight trainee. And K356 is Mike Hastings from Janesville, Oklahoma, and Brady Orma from Indiana. Ethan Green from San Antonio, Texas is in K310. This is his first solo flight as a TORA pilot. And 0114 Dan Reedy from Pearland, Texas is a second-generation pilot flying for TORA for over 20 years. In the American P-36 Hawk is Chris Walker from Palestine, Texas. My name is Dave Olmstead. I have the privilege for filling in for my good friend Denise Walker, who's a bit under the weather today. She's from Palestine, Texas as well. And the whole TORA group are all volunteers. These air shows showcase our military forces. It's also an excellent opportunity to highlight the city of Dayton and Vandalia and all of the flight history here in the great state of Ohio. It's also a chance for us to promote community relations, which is so vital and important for continued success. But more than anything, it's a chance to give you a glimpse of the extraordinary capabilities of our nation's people and equipment. With our little history lesson, TORA's purpose is to highlight the advancement of our military capabilities from the 1940s to what you're about to see today with the F-22 and the F-18. On December 7, 1941, this was a pivotal day in the world history. Europe had already been on war for 2 years, and despite the best efforts of some incredibly sharp people, we as the United States did not have the most professional and powerful military. Because of the lack of foresight, planning, and commitment, the sons and daughters of this nation paid a terrible price. We think that's worth remembering, and we hope you do as well. Lest we forget, freedom is not free. Men and women paid the price of the ultimate price and sacrifice for our freedom to be here today and enjoy this beautiful air show. TORA 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 is a volunteer group of the Commemorative Air Force. The Commemorative Air Force is an organization dedicated to preserve in flying condition one of every American military aircraft that served the U.S. during World War II. All of our team members are volunteers, and they love what they do. TORA has been flying air shows for 54 years, the longest civilian air show act to date. We would love for you to follow us on social media and visit our website at TORA And for more information, check us out there, see our show schedule, come see us at another show. Once again, a big salute to all of you for letting us perform for you here today and enjoy our little bit of history. Matt and Rick, it's back to you guys.
Outstanding, David. Thank you. Getting it done. Tora, Tora, Tora. Weather update, schedule update coming up in just a few moments.